Members, we move now to our agenda item number 4, and this is the outline business case for smart energy grids for Trumpington and Baybrook Park and Ride sites. And I hand over to Sherry, who's going to present this on this stage.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I'm Sherry Gregoire. I'm the Special Projects Manager for the Energy Investment Unit. I've come to the committee today to seek a development budget of £300,000 to fund the first stage of 2 investment-grade proposals for smart energy grids at the Park and Ride sites at Trumpington and Baberham. These projects are part of a larger vision for a network of smart energy grids to be built across the county. This vision was supported by committee in March of this year. These 2 new projects follow a similar model to the smart energy grid project the team is developing for St. Ives. They will consist of solar renewable energy, battery storage, electric vehicle chargers, and selling excess electricity. However, they do differ in 2 important aspects. We're adding a second larger battery to each project in order to provide grid services, and these new business cases are predicated on not requiring grant support. The additional battery is to act as a relief valve on the national grid, absorbing electricity at times of excess generation and releasing it back to the grid when needed. This service will become more crucial as renewable energy forms a large proportion of generation on the grid and as such attracts payments for the service. We chose to focus on Trumpington and Baberham for 2 key reasons. We own each site and both are heavily used, indicating that the sites will both have longevity in their current function as park and rides, allowing the county to recoup the initial investment. Since this paper was drafted, it's come to light that the combined authority will be undertaking a strategic transport review, which may impact the future of the Trumpington site. So I anticipate there'll be questions around that. Taken in turn, the Baberham project is more attractive at this stage, with a payback of 12.8 years, an internal rate of return of nearly 8.6%, and net present value of nearly £5 million. The Trumpington project, conversely, has a payback period of 17 years, IRR of 4.7%, and a negative net present value of £500,000. Baberham has a better return, as the civil works required will be a soft dig rather than a hard dig expected at Trumpington. Also, Baberham can support a larger secondary battery than at Trumpington. As explained in the paper, there are opportunities to improve the business cases at Trumpington, including seeking joint funding, securing a higher energy tariff than assumed in the high-level assessments, revising our estimates of battery storage revenue as new information becomes available, and taking advantage of economies of scale in purchasing materials and services. At this stage, the high-level assessments were each priced independently. A smart energy grid at Trumpington could also provide clean electricity to autonomous vehicles expected to be brought online by the Connecting Cambridgeshire project, which will provide after-hours transportation to the biomedical campus. We've indicated 3 key risks in the paper: securing the customer to purchase electricity, securing a grid connection, and the uncertainty of revenue from providing grid services. We've indicated strategies to mitigate these risks, in addition to breaking the investment grade proposal into 4 stages, and only proceeding to the first stage now will further limit the risk to county. If you approve the development budget, we will return to the committee at the conclusion of the first phase to request additional funds to complete full investment grade proposals for each. With that background, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you very much, Sherry. And members, we also have Cheryl French here, who's happy to answer questions on the strategic elements of the project, and Hugo, who's here to have Matthew. Sorry, I knew it was wrong. I'm trying to think of it.
I'll answer to Hugo.
Sorry, Matthew. And Matthew, who is more of a lead on the finance and will answer any questions about the financing of the project, I'm sure, but if Sherry's unable to. Members, any questions, please? Lucy,
Thank you very much for your very excellent introduction of the paper, and I am very pleased to see this coming forward. I think that there's just a potentially huge opportunity for using solar farms over park and rides. It's a really good project to be taken forward. I want to focus to start with on the issues that you raised about the future of park and rides and the Trumpington site in particular, but both of them have issues about whether or not there's going to be expansion and whether or not these sites will continue. And I'm also very pleased to see that you have been to talk to Trumpington South Parish Council, and that they, so I'd like to know what they had to say about it, because I know they're very sensitive about what happens on the Trumpington side. There's a kind of complicated picture going on with Park and Ride at the moment, with the Greater Cambridge Partnership having a number of projects for expanding Park and Rides, and those are now called into question, and we won't know until next week what's happening about that, and we may not know until later on. My understanding is that even if the Park and Ride expansion at Trumpington, the other Park and Ride expansion at Trumpington happens, which would be a new site, the other side, the M11 probably, the current site, the current Park and Ride site would continue to be used. In which case, all of that kind of question mark stuff. And the paper that's coming to the Combined Authority is about potential new Park and Ride sites rather than challenging the current ones. So I think that this project, the current Park and Ride site in Trumpington, is fine, because that will just continue whatever happens. But can you reassure me that I'm right in that analysis?
I think there are several different options being examined at this point. And so you talk about the site at Trumpington across the road. I know there's been public consultations concerning its location and development. There's, of course, a planning application on the current Trumpington Park and Ride to expand and add an additional, I think, 270 car parking spaces. I don't know if I can say at this point what the future is going to be. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not sure anyone knows what the future of the site will be. What we can say is, with the addition of the biomedical campus jobs, there is going to be a need for a Park and Ride site or sites. Both the Trumpington and Baberham are located very close to Addenbrooke's and the biomedical campus, and can support that increased demand. And so I think our team will be watching closely the developments and how they impact any plans we go forward with.
Thank you. Can I follow up? Of course. This is an initial stage, kind of early work on this. If it became clear in the next year or so that the Trumpington Park and Ride site was going to be moved to the other side of the M11, and that the future of this site was, my understanding is that they would then run both of them. But if I was wrong about that, would it be possible to then effectively just move this project to the other side of the M11, or would there be, in a year's time, would that mean there would be difficulties?
We could. It would involve a redesign, of course, because of customers who sell to the location of connecting to the substation. It's certainly the positioning of carports. All of those decisions need to be made over the next year. And so while we could shift and build on a second site,
there would be costs.
There would be costs.
Thank you, that's great.
Thank you, and I think it's safe to say that at this stage it would allow us to possibly do a much more detail about the risk profiling, which that would be the obvious risk of the future site. So I think this is a start to allow us to build that picture up. But it's a very valid question, please. Councillor Jones.
Thank you. Going back to the Crusade, at 1.2 it says St Ives is the first part energy to reach schedule grant. Once grant from government is secured, I want to know where we are on that. Having said that, and going back to the meeting this morning, like my fellow councillor here, I'm very enthusiastic about the concept, and indeed very grateful that Cambridge is doing this work. I have a doubt as to the advisability of moving forward at this stage on two sites, in that I think that the world in this area is changing very rapidly, almost day by day. We've got new developments on battery storage and all other different things. And I wonder whether it would be possible or advisable to phase one before the other. We've learned a lot from St Ives. I think we would learn a lot from number one. that would help and reduce the costs of number 2. I understand that that might reduce the scope for bulk purchases, but that would only be for some of the elements and not all of them, and so I just pose that question.
Okay. Trying to take your questions in turn. On the status of the St. Ives project. So there are two major remaining issues.
Sherry, apologies. I was going to jump in first. Can I ask that we circulate a response about St. Ives? Obviously, that's not the paper in front of us, and it's quite a detailed position that we're in at the minute. So I think all members would really appreciate an update on where we are with it, if that's okay, Councillor Jones. So if we could just focus on the second part of the question about the phasing of two projects.
Of course, we could phase and bring forward Trumpington at a later date if that's the decision of the committee. We could certainly do that and focus our efforts on the Babraham site.
It's fair to say, I think, Sherry, from the briefings and conversations we've had previously, that some of the work that's going to be involved on these projects together will be shared anyway, and so there would be a natural kind of crossover with quite a lot of information. And if one of the projects was becoming apparent that it's much more favoured than the other, then that would be the one we would progress further, and then and more quickly, and as and when it may be that changes the scope and the parameters of the second project. So I think, in answer to your question, again, this allows that to happen, but I think it's good that you flagged it up, and I think we should just probably know that let's keep that in our mind, that we may choose to progress one, and an initial indication, it seems very obvious which one would progress first, but yes.
I didn't wish to tiptoe into that. the concept is established.
Absolutely, thank you for raising it. Councillor Rogers.
Just at 2.2, it's mentioned in your initial briefing as well, the possibility of joint funding. Bearing in mind the competition for funding at the moment, who or which organisations do you have in mind?
So there's a few different options. If we move forward with the Trumpington site and can provide service to the autonomous vehicles, we've started some conversations with Connecting Cambridgeshire in order to provide funding for that portion. Conversely, Innovate UK has recently put out a call for grant funding to support local energy systems that combine transport, electricity, and heat. Now, heat does introduce a new element to our project, so it would be something like a combined heat and power that provides heat to a local customer. We haven't explored that because that is brand new in the last 2 weeks. So that is, we have essentially two options.
And Sharon,
yeah, obviously, as you understand, there's an energy revolution and change happening. So BEIS has just come out with their industrial strategy and their clean growth strategies. And they've also just brought out an upgrading and energy systems, smart systems flexibility plan last year. So they've earmarked £250 million, which is to go into smart energy systems. But all the grant regimes are just now being developed and ready for us to look through. So I hope that over the next 6 months we'll be able to access something like that. I think the other issue that we need to consider is when we have clarity around the combined authorities' transport strategy and plan, we do also need to start having conversations around how potentially we might be able to support some innovation from there.
Thank you. Councillor,
Can I, continuing on that particular page, is page 15, you identify one of the problems with regards to risk, and that's the electricity and relation to batteries and like. Where do we draw the line? Because bearing in mind that development of batteries is significantly on the go, there must be a stage when we say that's the sort of one we want, or are we willing to wait?
Well, actually,
what's your policy on that?
The industry has settled on lithium-ion as the battery storage technology to move forward. There is agreement on that. Where things are moving forward, the costs are coming down significantly. So there is no question about the chemical makeup of the battery.
As a proposal of looking at that risk factor, the better the battery storage or the larger we can store, will significantly reduce that risk. Is that my correct interpretation?
you are limited in your battery storage size by your grid connection, and so we've started communication with UKPN, and that will determine ultimately what the battery sizes can be.
And when will we know that?
Well, that's in the first phase of the investment grade proposal, so we've stopped at this phase to seek approval to move to that next portion.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bates.
Two things. I think the first is on batteries. I'm aware that the university has certainly been doing some research with batteries, and I want to make sure that we plumb into the university and their research, because that may benefit us as we go forward. The second question is more simple, I think. Actually, you talked about something coming back to the committee. When would you anticipate maybe that coming back to the committee when you've got the approval of this committee to go forward? Just an indication, I don't want a date.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just doing some quick calculations. So if we're in May now, I anticipate it would take 2 to 3 months in order to do the work for phase 1. Then drafting the paper and kind of coming back, so we would be looking at some point in the autumn.
That's fine. That's all I want, is an indication.
I realised actually earlier that I didn't answer your second question, Councillor Netzinga, about South Trumpington.
Yes.
So I've communicated with the coordinators for the meeting and made an offer to present. They've presented my information, so a case study on the project at their last meeting, and they've invited us to come speak to them in July.
Councillor Rogers.
It's on page 18 of 3.1. You've identified a significant problem interpreting that particular paragraph, and that there's a significant cost attached to that. How much will it cost us, and if we go into partnership, who will pay what?
Oh, this is not a cost, you're talking about the £10 million cost in 3.1.
Yeah.
That's not a cost the project would bear. That cost reflects county-wide what the upgrade requirements are. Yes, they're not attached as projects.
It's not this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, I think what this has probably indicated in the conversation is that there's going to be a lot more questions, and this is why we're sort of putting a starter and a marker down. We thank Sherry, particularly, and Cheryl from the team for bringing it to us. There obviously is a certain amount of risk of me making this decision, but as it's been communicated, I think, to all groups, and certainly it should have been to all members of this committee, there is a risk about us taking this first step, and that's what the paper's asking us to do, to put £300,000, 150 into each project, to find out whether these projects can progress, and I think that's our job and duty to do so. So, and I really commend the team on the way that this has been presented as a starter, the communication, and then to come back with us to us with more information. So, as I've had no comments to the contrary, I would like to take it as a unanimous support for the recommendations. Thank you. Great, thank you very much.